Am I the a-hole for considering a divorce from my wife after telling her it feels like she prefer to be a single mom? My wife, 33F, and I, 30M, have had some issues in our marriage, and I've reached the point of feeling like enough is enough. We've been married for 7 years, and our son is 3 years old. When my wife learned she was pregnant, she decided to wait to tell me so she could surprise me. By the time she told me, she had told her friends and family. Her family took me finding out after everyone else as her being afraid to tell me, and called me on it. She did not defend me, but claimed she did when I was out of the room. Later in her pregnancy, when we talked baby names, she mentioned that she no longer wanted to use the original name we had agreed on because her sister didn't like the name. She had told me we were not discussing names with anyone, so I asked why she told her sister, and she said she wanted some opinions. I told her we liked it. Then I asked if she didn't anymore, and she said she still did, but she wanted her sister to like the name. Then she said her sister's opinion was too important, and I asked her if her sister's opinion was more important than mine. She said no, but then she tried to push for a name her sister loved that my wife knew I hated. It left me feeling less important again. I know she was the one carrying our son. She was going through all the changes in her body, etc. But it made me sad that not only did she tell her friends and family she was pregnant first, but then wanted her sister's opinion more than mine, it felt like. When our son was 18 months old, he was taken to hospital. My wife was home with him, and I was working from the office that day. My wife called her family before she called me, and when I got to the hospital, her parents were mad at me for not being there sooner. And then they said I'm clearly very uninvolved when my wife called them first. I admit I was more angry this time than sad, and I told my wife she called 8 other people before me, our son's father. We talked about it some, but our son was the focus. My wife and I decided before that we wouldn't sign our son up for football unless he asked us to, and he was older and was safe. We both agreed that the injuries sustained in football is a concern. All those brain injuries, it was something we were on the same page about. But a couple of weeks ago, she told me she had put his name down to start in another year. She did this without saying anything because her parents believe it's important that boys play football. This brought the hospital incident back more than anything, and I told her it feels like she'd prefer being a single mom, since it seems so easy to cut me out or dismiss my opinion. She told me I was being unfair, and she said I sounded ready to divorce her, which was crazy. I didn't deny it, and she told me I can't ruin our family over small disagreements. I reminded her she called 8 people when our son was taken to the hospital before me. Am I the a-hole for accidentally revealing my boss's affair during the office Secret Santa exchange? I, 29F, work in a small office where we always do a Secret Santa-like gift exchange. This year, I drew my boss, Rachel, 42F. She's always been the sweetest to me, so I wanted to make her gift thoughtful. Rachel frequently mentions her husband and their shared love of hiking, so I got her a fancy pair of hiking boots and a gift card to an outdoor gear store. During the exchange, she opened my gift, and I made a joking comment like, "Hopefully your husband doesn't already have these boots, or you two can match." Her face turned bright red, and the room got super awkward. I thought maybe she just didn't like the gift. But later that day, one of my coworkers, Dan, 34M, who I'm casually friendly with, pulled me aside and said, "You know Rachel isn't hiking with her husband, right?" I had no idea what he was talking about, so he spilled that Rachel's been having an affair with Steve, 45M, another manager in our office, and they've been sneaking away on hiking trips together. Apparently, it's been an open secret among a few co-workers, but I genuinely had no clue. My "match with your husband" joke unintentionally exposed their whole situation because now Rachel thinks someone told me about the affair and that I was making a passive-aggressive dig. The fallout has been insane. Rachel has been cold toward me ever since, and Steve won't even make eye contact. Meanwhile, the office gossip has exploded, and I feel like everyone's whispering about it. A couple of coworkers said I should have been more careful with my joke, but others think Rachel and Steve brought this on themselves. Am I the a-hole for unknowingly exposing my boss's affair with an innocent Secret Santa comment?